If you're thinking about moving to Vero Beach, Florida, or the surrounding areas, and you're looking for 5 acres or more, then this video is for you. We're going to be comparing the area in Vero Beach to area in Fellsmere. We're going to be looking at acreage, so stay tuned.
Hey guys, welcome to Living in Vero Beach, our YouTube channel. I'm Zach and this is my lovely wife and partner Tonya. We're a local real estate team here in Vero Beach and Sebastian, Florida. Thanks for tuning in. Now, if this is your first time visiting our channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell to be notified when we post new videos every Thursday.
Yeah, we talk about everything there is to know about Vero Beach, Sebastian, and the surrounding areas. Now, we get a lot of calls and emails from people wanting to know more about our area, and we love it. So reach out to us anytime, and we'll personally answer your questions. Our contact information is going to be below in the comments, so feel free to reach out.
All right, let's get started. All right, guys, so we love land. We own land here in Fellsmere. We're out here, and we're building our little compound, including planting commercial bamboo on 5 of the 10 acres. So there's so much to do when you buy acreage.
There is so much to do. There's a lot of work to be done when you're developing raw land. I'll go ahead and say it right now. If you don't like working hard, you don't like getting your hands dirty, using shovels, putting on boots, wearing some gloves, getting dirty, building things, buying land for you is just probably not going to work out then. Now, we personally love it. I love planting things. I love watching them grow.
Yeah, I found that one of my favorite things to do is drive the tractor. I like going to my happy place. I put my AirPods in, I put on an audio book, and I just go to work.
It is your happy spot. You can also sit out here, watch the sunsets. They're incredible. So let's get into buying acreage and 9 things to consider when looking at land in Vero, say, versus Fellsmere. Which one's better?
All right, number 9, population. Yeah. Now, when you do a search for the population of Vero Beach online, you're going to see some really low numbers, like 18,000 people. Now, that's really misleading. I mean, technically in the city of Vero Beach, that's the number, but most of the surrounding area is considered unincorporated, and there are way more people in Vero, in the Vero surrounding area.
Yeah, isn't it like over 165,000 or something in Indian River County?
Yeah, and the majority of that is in the Vero surrounding area, including Sebastian's 25,000 people and the 5,000 to 6,000 who live in Vero Lake Estates.
Yeah, just Vero Lake Estates. So compare that to Fellsmere. In 2020, the population was like 5,700. Pretty, you know, it's pretty low. And it's grown a little bit. It's clocked about a 2% growth since then. Okay. So definitely a huge difference in population. If you're looking for an area with less people, Fellsmere is clearly your choice. Number 8, let's talk about distance to major conveniences, like how far away is a grocery store, Marshall's, Target, Chipotle, the nearest nail salon.
What about Tractor Supply?
Hey, that's right down the road. So that is close to Fellsmere, and it's awesome. But the other ones I mentioned, you're going to be driving to Vero. Or Sebastian. Sebastian's got grocery stores at the least. Vero has more of everything, of course, more stores, restaurants, entertainment, churches, but with that comes more traffic.
Yeah, Fellsmere does have the basics, a little grocery store, and they have this like fresh pan, this Mexican baked product. So good. A couple of restaurants, 4 churches, and a few really good choices for Mexican food. Yeah. Some really good tacos. There's a place like Las Tapatías, Tacos Garcia's. I mean, it is awesome.
Yeah, you definitely got to try those out. Vero's definitely closer for all the major conveniences, so I guess Vero takes the cake there. Number 7, let's talk about the price of land. Now, you might think because Fellsmere isn't as developed like Vero that the cost of land would be less. Well, don't get too excited because not really. Prices for land have really increased, especially since the end of 2020. The price of land in Fellsmere, it has really jumped.
Yeah, not long ago, you could buy 10 acres of raw land here in Fellsmere for about $125 to $150K. Now you're looking at about $200,000 to $300,000 for the same parcel.
Now, there have been sales that cost less per acre in Fellsmere, though.
Yeah, there is one factor, though, that will affect price, and that's the ease of access. That's here in Fellsmere. Some roads are pretty rough and dusty.
Yeah.
You got to expect your car to be dirty all the time. Access is a big deal.
Yeah, all the time. But even with that drawback, the demand for land has really increased, especially in Fellsmere, because there is so much land. So with all that being said, I guess we'll call it a tie for when it comes to the cost of raw land.
All right. Number 6, cost of living. Now, I'm talking about utilities, cable, food insurance, all of the necessities that you'll need, the fixed costs. There really isn't a huge difference there.
Yeah, once everything is set up, there won't be a major difference in the cost of living. But something to be aware of is how close is the nearest power pole. I mean, go ahead and just get ready, because getting power to your property can be a challenge.
Yeah, more so in Fellsmere than in Vero Beach, because it's just much more developed in Vero.
Also, in Fellsmere, internet can be a big challenge because the big cable providers haven't run the lines yet, and many of the outlying acreages just don't get great service. So you're going to be relying on satellite providers or your cellular hotspots for your internet. But even the cellular networks are a little bit weak out on our property anyways.
Yeah, well, maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Number 5, taxes. How much does the government take in Vero Beach and Fellsmere? Well, that question has many answers, but all things being equal, meaning taking out any exemptions, the millage rate, that's the tax rate charged on a property for most of Indian River County. It's around 14.7 to 15 mils. Now, those areas with that tax rate is where you're going to find the acreage that we're talking about. The 5 to 10 acres of residential or agricultural property.
Yeah, in the cities of Vero, Fellsmere, and Sebastian, that's where millage rates are going to be a little bit higher, meaning higher taxes. But just as you mentioned, agricultural property, if you're going to be buying acreage, you're going to most likely want to take advantage of the ag exemption.
Sure.
Now, that's available for those ag properties. Simply put, if you grow something or have livestock on your property and you put it on the market for sale, you can qualify for an ag exemption. This is huge. This is going to take a big chunk out of your tax burden. The government likes farmers, and they want to make it easier for them to prosper. Ag exemption is a nice way to show it.
So, who's the winner?
I think the landowner. Number 4, restrictions. Can you shoot guns on your property?
Yes, you can.
Can you live in the camper while building?
I think so.
Well, you can, but you have to be building a permanent residence, and you only have a certain amount of time, 12 months, and you cannot drain on another person's property. So drainage is something you need to get sorted out right away.
Yeah. And if you own a property that is on the main access road and there is a separate lot behind you that you don't own and they don't have access to the main road, you're going to end up giving up a part of your land for an easement. It's called an easement by necessity. So the landowner behind you can get in and out of their property.
That's right. Now, ponds, you can have a pond, and you can use the dirt from the pond for your house pad. Your pond can only be half an acre big, and there's a depth restriction of 12 feet. Wetlands must be preserved and cannot be substituted, meaning you cannot dig a hole where the wetlands is and call it a pond.
Now, we've gotten away from the which is better theme here, you know, but there's some good things to know. I mean, there's probably a whole video worth of information on this subject alone, and I'm sure we're going to be doing one about restrictions in the future. So do subscribe, and you're going to get notified when we do. Just keep an eye out.
All right, yeah, there's a lot more to talk about, but let's move on.
All right, cool. Let's do.
Number 3, potential growth. What is going to happen to property values?
Well, Vero's property value increase last year was over 14%.
Wow.
And it's going to continue to grow. Fellsmere and the area around Fellsmere is growing fast, and there's a huge development plan for just north of Fellsmere.
That's true, there is. So Vero and Fellsmere, they're at different stages of growth, but the potential for massive growth is in Fellsmere. It's definitely higher than Vero. So if you watch what's going on, you're going to get a good idea of what to expect in the future. Fellsmere is prime property for development and home values to really increase.
Yeah, I say a big win for Fellsmere as far as that's concerned.
Okay.
Number 2, the weather. Can you not tell? Can I ask you a question?
What?
How does the weather difference between Fellsmere and Vero Beach affect the crops if you're going to farm?
Well, the closer you are to the ocean, the warmer it will be, especially the wind. So if you're planning on planting crops, make sure you know how hardy the crops will be in the winter. Fellsmere can get quite a bit chillier than Vero can.
Like kind of now?
Yeah, that's pretty windy.
You can tell the difference out here. It's just like 10 or so miles west of Vero Beach. How much of a factor the temperature can play? I think it's a win for Vero there.
If you need it to be warmer. And finally, number 1, schools. So this is going to be quick. Vero has more options, both public and private schools. Fellsmere has one public school, and it's the elementary school.
Yeah, so once they're in middle school, like you're driving. You're driving to either Sebastian or you're driving to Vero.
Unless you homeschool, which is a big option.
Got me? Yeah. So getting your kid to school will be something you'll have to consider in your morning and afternoon routine pretty early on in your little one's life. So is that a win for Vero?
I don't know. I guess it depends on your situation. There are bus routes that come to Fellsmere. So if you're cool with that, then get them on the bus.
All right. Probably not going to be that big of a deal.
So I say it's a tie.
All right, tie it is. So that's it. And the winner is, oh man, I wasn't really keeping track. Did you?
No.
I guess it really doesn't matter. Both Vero Beach and Fellsmere are beautiful places, and you're not going to go wrong by owning land in either place.
We love it here in Fellsmere, but we have friends who have acreage in Vero Beach, and it's beautiful there too.
Now, so if you're looking for land here in Vero Beach or Fellsmere and you want to know more about the process,
we'd love to help you.
We'd love to help you. Just call the number you see below or send us an email and we will answer personally.
Hey, thanks again for watching, guys, and remember to subscribe and hit the little bell below so you can be notified when we post new videos.